I want to talk about the Democratic National Committee and where we stand today. First, the November 7th, 2017 election results were very good for the Democratic Party. I don't know that they were very good for the DNC, but they were very good for the Democratic Party around the country. We won in Virginia, the governorship, and many state races. We won in New Jersey, the governorship, and many state races. We won out in the state of Washington and many state races. Around the country, there was a positive vibe for the Democratic Party. But that was for Democratic candidates. That was for people who worked on the local level, who connected with their voters, who didn't have controversial type of baggage that they were carrying around, and went out there on a day-to-day basis, met with voters, met with people, showed they cared about the issues that the people care about at their kitchen table, and got elected. They turned out the vote, they got elected. Now, when you compare that with what the DNC has done in its 5 congressional races, and what the DNC has been doing since Trump was elected, and then what the DNC did last fall, November of 2016, there's no comparison. The DNC lost its way. The DNC didn't connect with people. The DNC didn't have a message. The DNC's candidates that they supported specifically at the top of the ticket, Hillary Clinton and Kane, not only did not connect with voters, but led to this disastrous result that we have now where Donald Trump is President of the United States, and instead of having any real gain in the House or the Senate, we got drubbed again and got drubbed around the United States. And the reason for that is pretty simple. The DNC has become a cloistered watering hole for people who've been involved in politics and the industry of politics for way too long. Now, what has happened with this election is it gives the DNC an opportunity to change its way. It gives the DNC an opportunity to take a step back now, retool itself again, and begin to think about these midterm elections coming up in November of 2018 in earnest, and what the message of the Democratic Party should be for the candidates who are carrying our mantle as Democrats throughout the United States. You've got 33 senators up, you have the entire House up, you've got many gubernatorial races up, you have many local races where people are going to be running as Democrats. So what does the Democratic Party stand for? Democratic Party has to stand for what is in the best interest of the American people, from the lowest socioeconomic rung to the most prosperous one. We need to make sure that we're standing for the best interest of the people as a whole. We need to make sure that we side squarely with the middle class, that we side squarely with working America, that we side squarely with civil rights and the protection of all people in our country, that we are very strong from a foreign policy standpoint, but not foolhardy, that with strength you can bring peace, but saber rattling does not do anything other than get you ready to either have to reverse course or put yourself in a situation where you go charge blindly into whatever the controversy or contest may be. And in that case, it deals with flesh and blood and our sons and daughters, which is something that we should never take lightly. We should never make idle type of threats or statements. Now, let's talk about the DNC and its structure and whether it's able to set that example, whether the DNC would be able to carry out this very daunting leadership position. Well, let's talk about the new leader to begin with. First, Tom Perez has been elected the chair of the DNC now back in earlier this year in February. And the fact is that within 2 weeks after taking office, he should have made the disclosures that Donna Brazil's book made 2 weeks ago. If we have a transparent DNC, if we have a DNC that you can count on from a trust standpoint and from an integrity standpoint, the new chair, Tom Perez, should have, as soon as he learned what Donna Brazil has disclosed in her book, which was that the Clinton campaign took over the DNC 2 years before the nominating process and basically put the nominating process into a situation where it was a preordained type of an exercise to make sure that Hillary Clinton was nominated by the Democratic National Committee, by the Democratic Party, as the presidential candidate. And we know how that worked out, and you could see that coming a mile away. So they took hostage of the party. No one knows how that stacks up from an electoral law standpoint, from a campaign finance standpoint, but we know how it came out from the standpoint of going to the American people and asking them to elect Democrats. It was an absolute disaster. Tom Perez should have disclosed all that. Tom Perez is the new leader of the party. If he's looking to rally people around a chair that has the highest integrity and trust, he should have divulged this information. He didn't. So the DNC, for a period of time while he's chair, has kept these curtains closed. They've now been opened. They've been opened like the ballroom in Great Expectations. Like Miss Haversham has her ballroom now completely exposed. So let's move forward. Tom Perez, if he expects to instill trust and confidence in his leadership, if he expects people to rally around the DNC, if he expects people to make contributions to the DNC, make a monetary contribution to the DNC, people have to be sure that the DNC is going to be completely above reproach. The leadership, the staff, the DNC members. Now, the DNC was all elected under the guise of the Clinton campaign. The DNC needs to do some real soul searching right now as to whether or not they represent the people within the state Democratic parties. And the DNC has to make a decision. The DNC members have to make a decision as to whether or not every Democrat in their state has confidence in them, especially after the disclosures that have been made as to what took place under the Wasserman administration. The other thing is that we need new rules. We need rules that wipe out superdelegates. We need rules that put the nominating process back into the people. If elected officials want to run, let them run. If you want to put a number in each state of at-large people who can run for the purpose of affirmative action, for the purpose of balancing out with elected officials, put them in, let them run. But the idea that there's an automatic delegate, there shall never be another automatic delegate again. Okay, the 1968 McGovern-Fraser rules knocked out all automatic delegates. Over the years, we've slowly put back automatic delegates. That's got to go. The idea also that people who were automatic delegates were pledging to Hillary Clinton and thus skewing the delegate count from the first day was absolutely not something that anyone had ever endorsed or anticipated. And it absolutely knocked out a meaningful delegate selection process, so a full, meaningful, and timely opportunity to participate under the charter. The idea that the chairperson of the DNC sided with one candidate and rigged the debates in favor of one candidate and tried to use their influence and power in any way they could to thwart out any dissent within the Democratic National Committee or the Democratic Party can never happen again. So it's got to be absolutely beyond reproach. If Tom Perez can't do it, then there's got to be a new chair who will. But this has to be the number one issue right now. The DNC has to instill trust and also show that it has the integrity it needs to conduct the delegate selection process and to be a participant with the House Campaign Committee, the Senate Campaign Committee, the Gubernatorial Campaign Committee, the mayoral campaign committees, and even local and state campaign committees to be involved in the 2018 midterm conference. Because if a DNC staffer walks in and everybody in the room says, this is not someone that I'm going to be able to work with, trust, I don't believe that they have any integrity, we're wasting our time. And we shouldn't be contributing a dime to the DNC. The other thing is the rules. The delegate selection rules need to be changed. And they need to be changed so they guarantee a full, meaningful, and timely opportunity to participate within the calendar year with no ex officio delegates. And with full participation of all of our various demographics within our party, which means heavy affirmative action programs, and then also proportional representation, so that we make sure that we have candidates who represent individuals who also then are represented at the convention. Convention was always supposed to be a major tent which brought everyone together. And then we rallied around a specific candidate. If the system is fixed, no one will rally around anyone. And then the last thing is, in order to accomplish this, obviously, so forget about the Unity Commission, forget about all the different commissions that were appointed under Wasserman or appointed under Brazil. Wipe them all out. Let's start from scratch. Let's make sure this can be done. This isn't nuclear science. We've gone down the path of participation and participatory democracy before. This does not take a great deal of time to come up with a set of rules that are fair. And everyone who's thinking of running for president should weigh in immediately and say and endorse the fact that yes, these are fair. I would run into these, and let's get going here. As far as debates go, the same thing. As many debates as possible, wide open debates, no restrictions. Now, last but not least, midterm conference. You want to be able to talk about issues, you want to connect with the people, let's have a midterm conference next summer. Let's elect delegates this spring. Let's get in, and it doesn't need to be 10,000 delegates. It can be something very manageable, like prior midterm conferences, 3,000, 4,000 delegates, but where people go, discuss issues, and come up with a platform that Democrats can run around the country on and feel confident that it's a platform that will connect with the people. Not a platform where someone is running ads on TV saying we need to impeach the president. Forget that. That's going to happen. Different people have different interests and interest groups. I'm talking about a Democratic Party platform that people can endorse, that appeals to the Americans that did not connect with the Democratic Party for the last decade or more. And let's get moving here. Every day we do not do this, we risk losing our democracy in the United States. And the party to blame for the loss of our democracy eventually will be the fixed, tainted Democratic National Committee and Democratic Party. So let's get this straight and get moving. Let's work together. Let's forge alliances and get moving forward. I hope you'll consider this. I hope the DNC members around the country will realize what a perilous condition the United States is in, obviously, but also our party is in as well. Thanks very much.